Guys, this is going to be round one between Thompsin and Judas. Here we go.
And I think Judas here is thinking very deeply into how many LDs Thompsin has. You can tell he's like grabbing his cheeks here, really thinking about it. Thompsin already knows he's pre-banning Ragdoll. He definitely does not want to face that monster more than he needs to.
Yep, let's see what these pre-bans look like. Looks like Judas still might be thinking about his pre-ban.
Yeah, Judas definitely thinking about it. Interesting to note, though, I would expect that if you've thought about your first opponent, you should know what monster you're pre-banning first and second and third.
And there it is. Ragdoll being pre-banned by Thompsin. Of course, Gianna getting pre-banned by Judas.
And actually, very good choice of pre-banning the Gianna first because Judas tends to run a bit slower, more bruisery. So that means that a Vio Gianna is a lot more effective into Judas than a Swift Gianna. So that's a very good pre-ban. Of course, gives Thompsin the ability to take that Hathor, but Judas can easily counter with a Vanessa and a Ganymede, or if you want to give up the Ganny-Hathor combo, can also go with the Verd.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Judas does choose that Ganny, and he does. Goes with that Ganny and Okeanos.
So far showing pretty standard plays. Not taking a speed lead is also okay, knowing that Thompsin has not shown one. Thompsin, though, opts for the Vanessa. Vanessa in this meta tends to be a little bit stronger than Sierra, giving your team a little bit more versatility with the ability to revive a unit. And taking his LD when in doubt, just take that LD unit.
That's right, so Thompsin drafting the Vanessa, 33% speed lead, and that Nephthys, that Doc Desert Queen.
Yeah, and of course, double speed lead, very strong here. But Judas being very wise, showing that Velojoule, and probably going, I would love to see a Vertihile pick or something that would put some damage out right now, because Judas right now does not have a defense breaker and needs a little bit of damage. That last pick could be a Fran later down the line, because Thompsin is very weak right now to double immunity.
Yeah, Judas definitely opting for that second turn, though, here. Definitely is.
And I'm not sure about the Julian. I know he has that LD unit that can be used here, but I really would prefer a Verd. A Verd would allow his team to snowball, a lot more versatility, because Julian is not sniping something off the bat, especially with tanky units from Thompsin and a Vanessa. So either way, though, he has opted for his LD unit. When in doubt, just take the LD. We'll see what Thompsin goes. He's flashed some banana in.
Always. He's always flashing.
It wouldn't be a Thompsin game if he didn't flash it.
But he's shown his new toy. It's
there
Celia.
it is. The new toy is here, guys. That's that Celia right there being drafted by Thompsin.
He pulled it right before he flew out to Paris. So congrats to Thompsin here. Celia does provide that ability to strip every turn. Judas goes with that double immunity comp. So actually, that's quite strong from Judas here.
Yeah, I think that was the correct decision coming out with that double immunity. I think what it was showing before, when he drafts that Celia, I think he was saying he was banning that Velojoule, but now that other 3-turn immunity is coming up here. So he's going to have to figure out what he wants
Judas,
to
I'm looking about banning either that Celia or that Fran, because Fran provides that healing. And if I'm Thompsin, I'm looking, do I ban the Julianne and remove the damage? But taking out one piece of immunity would put Thompsin in a lot of risk if that Hathor misses that strip on that Velojoule. That's a 50% chance of glance, and if he misses it, Thompsin instantly loses the game, to be quite honest, because that Julianne is a lot of damage, and that Ganny and Velojoule means that immunity is going to be up permanently. So I really like Judas's draft here, and we'll see if Thompsin is going to be able to punch through with some sort of damage.
Yep, very interesting first draft coming from these two. Here we go, guys. Thompsin and Judas, round one. Looks like Thompsin is taking first turn.
That's a very fast Nephthys here, likely a Swift build. And we'll see if that Hathor is able to land on this Velojoule here.
Yep. Ooh, that is no bueno. Did not receive that strip onto the Velojoule. Did get that silent onto the Okeanos.
Yeah, and at this point here, chooses not to use skill 3 because he has the protection from Fran as that unit moves in front of Ganny. But again, Judas is very far ahead right now because Thompsin does not have a way to get through immunity very soon.
Yeah, Thompsin looking to push back that light Vampire, keeping that attack break up as well.
And of course, attack break is gone now because of that immunity from Velojoule, and Velojoule is just going to pump damage into Vanessa here.
Yep, Judas looking to target that Vanessa first, seeing that as a threat, need to eliminate that.
Yeah, and of course, if I'm Judas, I'm just going to ventilate my Velojoule and just make sure I can put up immunity whenever I want. Because Thompsin right now, that's
big
a lot of damage
coming from that light Vampire right onto that Vanessa.
Interesting thing to note, though, Judas does not have heals. So if Thompson's Fran can violent proc a lot, pull a little, learn a little bit from Tree here, he's got a chance.
Going for that strip, does get the immunity off that Fran.
Does get the immunity off the Fran here, but at the same time, again, Judas has a lot more damage lined up, and that Fran's skills are on cooldown. It needs a proc.
Ooh, there's that huge proc right there. He's going to go for some sustain on Vanessa and does so.
It's quite a big proc because every proc, Fran's got short cooldowns. It's going to allow Thompson to be able to keep in the pace of the game here and continually keep his team going.
Does Judas go for the reset or just apply some glancing here? Does go for that reset onto Fran.
Very smart, conservative move by Judas, knowing that Fran is going to get cooldowns up soon. Needs to take out that Velojul.
Ooh, Thompsin getting some Vile procs, dealing more damage to that Okeanos.
That's critical, actually. Every piece of damage matters because Judas does not have a heal on his team.
I want to say he's going to go for that third skill, try and stun everybody up here. Does receive those stuns onto Fran and Vanessa.
And if Ganny procs a couple times, can re-ventilate that Okeanos so that Judas can then, again, get that Ganny Oki lock, which is almost as good as a Ganny Hathor lock.
Oh, man, misses the sleep onto the Velojul again.
Yeah, that Hathor was missed twice. Again, fire, wind onto fire, not exactly an ideal situation to be in.
Not at all. Looking to apply a glancing onto that. Vanessa does so. Lands that glancing. We're going to see more focus on the Vanessa. Vanessa's just holding on barely.
Yeah, that's a very tough situation for Thompsin. That Hathor has skill 3, but it's not able to do anything because there's immunity up on Judas' side. And again, that Okeanos is about to die, but look, Thompson's got no attack bars. He's completely out of tempo right now.
Yeah, he really needed a proc there to get a heal onto Vanessa, and that's not going to happen. Vanessa's going to drop to that Velojul.
And again, Judas is just going to rinse and repeat, keep that immunity up. Julianne's doing a ton of damage as attack goes up and HP goes down over time here.
Yeah, it looks like Judas' next unit to focus out is going to be the sustain. Looks like he's working on the Fran.
That's a very aggressive ventilate into the Julianne to do more damage here, but chooses to do so. It really doesn't matter at this point.
He was looking for that stun on Hathor. He received it.
And if I'm Thompsin, I'm taking my time thinking, what should I have drafted differently? How should I have been able to counter double immunity? Because this is a difficult situation Thompsin has put himself in.
Yep, very much so. This is like Thompsin to take his time at this point. Does get that additional turn, though. Can he finish off the Okeanos with a defense break? Does not.
Yeah, but again, this Fran needs a violent proc every time, and Judas needs to never vile proc again for the rest of this game, and still, Thompsin is on the back foot here.
Yeah, he really is on the back foot here, looking to get those sleeps on everybody. On the Ganymede and the Okeanos.
And this Julianne needs to start missing crits if Thompsin is to win this game here. But that Nephthys is going to be able to silence Velojul. Actually not a bad situation for Thompsin here.
No, Thompson's going to need some Vile procs with that Fran. He needs to get his team some more stability to his team.
That is a giant resist onto that Julianne because Julianne is now going to take out this Hathor. But that's an even bigger proc than Fran.
Does receive that Vile proc. He's going to throw that immunity up and try to go for a big heal.
Actually, Thompsin looks to be in a decent spot here. Just the fact that his friend's got a couple of Vile procs and he's able to stay in the game is serving him pretty well.
Yeah, that attack break was great onto that Julianne. That Julianne would have dealt a ton of damage.
And I think that Judas's Oki is going to go down pretty soon here. And Hathor does not have skills though, but that Julianne not quite fast enough to do enough damage here.
Yep, more sustain going on that Hathor. There's no way he's going to pass that up. He's going to have to then target the Okeanos if he does receive that additional turn. Let's see, no, but it's a big heal onto the Hathor.
And actually, that's a good conservative move here, knowing that you can take out that Okeanos later. You have immunity up. Just heal the Hathor and stay in the game. Smart, conservative play from Thompsin here.
Yep, definitely is. Here's some big damage coming right back to Hathor. We're going to see a second skill coming out, getting silences on everybody, dropping that Okeanos. It may turn around.
Yeah, and actually, Thompsin actually has this one now. Judas did not balance
Missed the attack break, though.
That missed the attack break, but again, look at Thompson's friend is moving next. This is a lot of momentum on his side here.
Does land that sleep onto the Julianne.
Yeah, and at this point, Judas is now in a lot of trouble. Units are all silenced up. Attack bars in favor of Thompsin here. Cooldowns are down on Judas' side.
Oh, that is a big additional turn coming from Judas. He's going to have to reset and dump attack bars on Thompson's team. He's going to need some resistance on attack bars here if he's going to have a chance. All bars get dumped on Thompson's team.
Judas needs another proc if he wants a chance. Otherwise, Thompsin again takes turns again. His units are so fast.
There it is. Velojul gets dropped by that Nephthys.
And as long as Julianne has glancing and attack break,
there's that attack break he's looking for. Another big heal coming onto that Hathor. Hathor's healed all the way up.
Again, question Judas's choice of bringing Julianne over Verd. If this was a Verd, this would be a very different situation. But unfortunately, that LD monster is not as good as the fire monster for once.
Ooh.
And Judas is in trouble.
He can't land any glancing onto that Hathor. You can see he's starting to focus out that Julianne. That Julianne's looking low, but so's that Ganymede.
Yeah, and obviously Ganymede, Julianne, both of them have low attack bars. That blessing is going to come up, and Ganymede's going to be able to do nothing.
Nothing. Ganymede can't use any cooldowns at all. Except the ventilate going onto the Julianne possibly, but no, he aims for damage here. We're going to see an attack break or silent. Oh, takes out that Julianne. Thompsin with a huge comeback. Taking round one.
Thompsin with a point on the board. He only needs to do that one more time in order to secure a spot in the semifinals, whereas Judas needs to get 2 or he's out. There is no loser's bracket.
That's the advantage of best of 3. If you win that first game, you only need one more. It's over much more quickly than in a best of 5.
What what an opportunity. When he found that opening to put that silencing on Veladrul, that was incredible. And Fran just gets so valuable over the course of the game as attack scales up.
Absolutely, and I would say, you know, going back to the pick and bans, had that been a Vertihile, Judas would be able to control which unit to attack and control attack bars and manipulate cooldowns a lot more easily. That's why we see Veladrul on the meta right now a lot more. It's like a fire version of Ragdoll.
Or rather, Vertihile.
Jumps has been showing a crutch, though, in most of his drafts, and it has been that Julian. So he brought that Julian in there because maybe it was a crutch for him. He felt like he needed that kind of damage in there and not the Vertial. But you know what? It did cost him that match.
It did do a lot of damage and threaten that Vanessa, though, but keep in mind, Thompsin has great runes. He's here for a reason. His Vanessa is one of the best Vanessas in the world. So that Julian is not going to be able to provide enough damage to punch through that Vanessa.
That's right, and sometimes you see it when you watch Judas play. You see him lean on that Julian, like you pointed out. Towards the end of that game, it actually hindered him because when it had defense break on, his passive is just draining his team. And when you got no healers on your side, what are you going to do? It's just a way for Thompsin to get closer to victory at that point.
Exactly. I mean, obviously that Julian, it just kind of sits there. It does a lot of damage, but it kind of sits there, and Thompsin took advantage of that. His units, his Fran, his Nephthys were all very fast, and he was able to use that to his advantage.
Let's see if Judas can get a point on the board and stop this from ending for him. There you go, guys. Take it away.
Here we go. This is round 2. This could send Judas home, potentially, and send Thompsin forward.
The advantage that Judas has right now, though, is Ragdoll cannot be pre-banned. So we know that Thompson's going to have to face a Ragdoll and just likely ban it and deal with 4 units. And if I'm Judas, I'm thinking, do I ban Nephthys or do I ban Artemel? Artemel actually quite a strong unit into bruiser-type comps here. But if Judas has Ragdoll, Artemel's very weak.
No LDs are getting banned this match. You see the CR is getting banned by Judas, and the Hathor's getting banned by Thompsin.
Interesting choice. It tells me Judas is probably going to favor Vanessa at some point. But if he chooses to take a Ganymede here, if Judas takes a Ganymede here, Thompsin is likely going to take that Vanessa and put Judas in a weird spot. So I'm not sure if I agree with that pre-ban on Sierra. I really think Judas should have taken out an LD monster because they're really strong. So I think Judas should have thought about that because this Sierra pick pre-ban is putting him in a weird spot of does he take a speed lead or does he take a Ganny or what does he even do? Does he take a Fran first? And I think when in doubt, just slam down the other unit, I guess.
When in doubt. You can see a little bit of frustration in his eyes. I think he was definitely struggling as to what to pick for that first, and he just went with the Ragdoll there.
Yeah, and again, obviously I highly disagree with the Ragdoll first pick because Thompsin doesn't have a Ragdoll, and so now he lets Thompsin get 2 units of choice, and so Judas is kind of in a weird spot. I think with the Ragdoll here, he really needs to think about how is he going to deal with a potential full-on control comp that Thompsin may bring, or a mix of a bruiser control comp. Thompson's Vanessa Ganny is very flexible, and Judas doesn't really have the tools, the standard tools right now to deal with that.
Yep. Judas looking to draft that Veladrul. He's really soaking up all the time there. Goes again with an LD Nat 5 and that Water Fairy.
Interesting picks. Well, the Julianne, I expect that from Judas because Judas has been leveraging that. And if I'm Thompsin, I'm thinking I probably at least want a Fran for heals and protection from the Elucia. And I would really like to see him lay down either some sort of a Verd, but I think a Nephthys is actually also very acceptable here because it really disrupts the Elucia and really disrupts the Julianne as well. So look to see which one he chooses favor. Obviously, the Fran is a good choice.
Yep, Thompsin going for some sustain, bringing out that Nephthys once more. Man, Judas is really showing a lot of emotion in this posture. You can see here, he's does not look super comfortable at the moment.
Oh man, and he picks the Juno and the Raccoonian. I'll be honest, I am also not a fan of that Juno. The reason why is that while Nephthys does debuff that Juno, it debuffs the rest of the team. The Raccoonion's a decent pick, but again, Thompsin countering very well to Ager, telling me he's not banning either Raccoonie or Juno, and we all know he's banning Ragdoll anyways. Ragdoll is so powerful. That's what Thompson's ban is going to be, no doubt about it. And Judas has a really tough choice to make.
Yep, I mean, Thompson's got 2 attack breaks on his team. He can definitely keep that Julian at bay for sure.
And as we predicted, Ragdoll is out, Ager is out. Thompsin needs to be able to land a defense break with the Nephthys and then use an attack buff Vanessa to punch through because this is a lot of healing coming out from Judas' side. And also, Juno counters Fran quite well. There's a bit of a lock rock, paper, scissors lock between when that strip comes out from Juno into Fran's immunity.
Yep. Well, here we go, guys. Round 2, Thompsin and Judas. Here we go. Thompsin definitely taking first turn.
And Judas not believing in Will Runes, so he's going to get a full attack bar dump from the Ganymede here. So that's a ton of momentum on Thompson's side, and he may be able to snipe out a unit off the bat.
Yep, goes right for that water fairy. We see the resistance of the attack bars onto that Raccoon.
And if I were Thompson, I would poke at that Juno a bit, but he's chosen to go after Lucia. But I would really poke at that Juno a bit here. But again, Judas no Will Runes is interesting.
Yep, we're going to see a lot of damage coming from this Vanessa. Let's see who chooses to target here.
Yeah, and Thompson should be tunneling that Juno at this point here. Chooses got the Raccoon, which is also fine. Very squishy Raccoon.
Yeah, very squishy Raccoon. You can see half the HP bar getting dumped on that Raccoon.
Yeah, I mean, if a Raccoon is this squishy, you tunnel that Raccoon and you end the game.
Yep, you see the reventilate on that second skill of the Nephthys.
And so Thompson on the next swing around can get a defense break onto the Raccoon and then have Vanessa kill it. That's pretty much the end.
Yep, some good heals coming up with those heal blocks onto those 2 units on the right side of Juno.
Actually, this game could honestly go either way at this point. It depends on Despair Stun from Juno and procs from Thompson, because that was a big heal from Juno there.
Yep, Thompson trying to get that attack break onto the Light Vampire. You can see that freeze coming out onto Fran. The additional turn is definitely going to be cleansing up that Light Vamp.
Yeah, and if that Lucia is on Revenge at some point in the game, it's going to do a lot of damage. It's going to do a lot of work, because that Lucia is just has such short cooldowns too.
Yep, Judas looking to target out the Vanessa. Vanessa taking a good amount of damage there.
So Thompson's decided to tunnel this Raccoon, but at this point here, without a defense break, he's not actually doing enough damage here. So kind of a weird, tough spot to be in, and if Judas is able to proc and get out of defense break, he's in a good spot.
Yep, definitely is. See who Thompson's going to be focusing out here. Looking to go after that Water Fairy. Water Fairy does not get the freeze onto the Ganymede. Can see no Despair Stun on Vanessa as well.
Any proc from Judas' side, though, is very deadly, because that Lucia is scary.
Yep. Oh, another additional turn. He's probably going to continue pounding away at the Vanessa.
And I
with
think
that
he's
big
got to
second
use
skill.
skill 2 here. He's going to gamble.
There it is, eliminating that Vanessa.
He's got to take that gamble there. He has glancing, so it's a 50-50 hit. But once he takes it down, Thompson's on a very big back foot here without damage. He has no damage now.
No damage at all. Thompson needs to figure out how can he control this match. Got that attack break onto the Light Vamp. Really needs to have that there.
There's no way he's controlling a Raccoon, Juno, Lucia. That is way too difficult with the comp he has. We'll see if he's able
Juno
to.
receiving a big Despair Stun onto the Fran as well.
But a Lucia Raccoon is just a lot of attack bar manipulation here. I think Judas is in a commanding
Oh,
spot
the
here.
2-turn sleep on the Nephthys, and he's going to be cleansing up that attack break on the... No, healing himself up instead of cleansing the attack break. Probably doesn't need to.
He's just definitely taking the conservative route here. He knows he just needs to keep his units alive and let the cooldowns do the work here. Thompson's kind of scratching his chin, unhappy with this situation here, thinking about how he could have banned a little bit better or how he could approach the game a little bit differently.
Yep, looking to dump attack bars. Missed on that Raccoon once more.
Yeah, Thompson's definitely not liking the position he's in, but also, again, Thompson has no damage. Judas has healing, cleansing, and tons of damage from Julianne. Thompson needs burst to win, and I don't think he has it right now.
That's right, I think we can see a big second skill onto that Fran. Eliminates that Fran.
Yeah, and even Thompson's new toy that he pulled, that Celia, would not have helped him here. I think Thompson should have thought about maybe not bringing in the Nephthys, or maybe draft it, maybe instead of approaching this draft a little bit differently here.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, at the start of this match, we didn't think it was going to turn out like this, but it's definitely in Judas's favor from here on.
Yeah, Judas, I mean, I say it all the time, but Judas can really hit the auto button here. With all these healers and cleansers, it's just too much oppression. And for example, this Nephthys can't take on this Juno here. Judas really, he can slouch in his chair, kick back and relax, and focus on game 3.
Yeah, I think he really needed this win for sure, else he would have been knocked out, but his posture might be a little better going into the next draft.
And we're going to go into a death match very soon, because game 3 is an elimination match. So Thompson taking a sip of water, tapping his finger on the desk, thinking about what he could have done better here and how he could have played differently.
Yep, Nephthys looking to get a silence here. Not going to really do much. Waiting for Judas to finish off the rest of his units.
Yeah, Judas looking a little bored here, just kind of poking around Thompson again, thinking
Look at
about
that.
it.
Double stun, double freeze, brought to you by Google Play, and Judas takes round 2.
Judas getting a point on the board. He only needs to do that one more time now, but it's going to be a hard get. Thompson is not an easy opponent. What do you think of that match, Joe? Do you think that the Julianne, there's a reason why he's leaning on that Julianne now?
Yeah, I think you're going to see it throughout his drafts. He's going to lean onto like a high damage unit, and just like that Julian is what we saw in this one.
And I'll be honest, the Julianne is great and I think it could have been any damage dealer. It could have been a Verd, it could have been anything else. It's really that Rikuni and that Juno and that Lucia doing a ton of work, and Thompsin not having enough burst to take it down. If he had procced on the Vanessa earlier and did more damage to the Rikuni, I think he'd be in a much better spot. But Thompsin didn't have enough burst, and at the same time, that Julianne did proc and gambled on the skill 2 onto Vanessa,
which
and
was
able
great.
To take
He was rewarded
huge.
for that. But
Yes.
that's a lot of sustain and a lot of control coming out of that Lucia, because he banned out that Aegir from Thompson's side, theoretically leaving him without a damage dealer. But when Nephthys goes off, everything becomes a damage dealer. But the sleep on the Nephthys was crucial. Locking it down was absolutely crucial.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love the Juno pick coming from
Judas.
Yeah, Judas.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
agree.
The
I really agree.
Juno pick is interesting. I typically don't like it because it's kind of a passive stripper stunner that you don't really control very much. But what I really like more than anything is that Lucia pick. That Lucia pick
yeah.
really allowed, it allowed him to 2-turn sleep, it allowed him to cleanse and boost attack bars. It's just so much control, and then when combined with other healers into a low damage comp, it's quite difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and it has that freeze on skill 1. It basically gets to decide one unit doesn't get to play anymore. Guys, this is the final round of the first match. Whoever wins this is moving forward to the semifinals, and the other one is out. Stoic, make it a bud, have some fun.
Here we go, guys. The death match. Thompsin, Judas, winner goes home.
We are in a final game 3 here. This is interesting that Thompsin is facing elimination. I don't think we expected this. Thompsin definitely pre-banning the Ragdoll as expected here. Judas taking out that Hathor so that Thompson's not able to take it first. So we'll see what Thompsin values first pick.
I think we're going to see a totally different draft coming from Thompsin. I want to say, and let's see, Thompson's got first pick here. Let's see what he values up against Judas.
I think it should be a Ganny here because Ganny is going to enable a lot of the different units that he uses. Although, if he thinks about it, and Vanessa's also okay, Judas loves his Velojoule, and Ganny's not very good in the Velojoule. So I think Vanessa's also a great pick here.
Yeah, I think he wants that Vanessa. Get that 33 speed lead out on the field already.
And again, we haven't seen Judas take a Vertihau, but Vertihau is usually very good in this type of comp. Remember, this, in his back pocket, Thompsin does have a Gianna, and he also has a Nephthys. So Judas has to think about that and may go with a more passive style of play here. But that is not passive at all. He's going with a Bastet and a same Julianne that we've always seen.
Yeah, we're seeing something different from Judas here. That Bastet and Julianne.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about showing your cards that early because this is a little bit susceptible to, like, say, Oki, Ganny type comps, or for example, like just anything that kind of you can either ban the Bastet and control the rest of the team. So I'm not sure if that Bastet is too early of a commitment. Thompsin going with the very neutral Ganny Gianna. However, if this Gianna is indeed on Violent, like he says it is, that is weaker to that Bastet because Bastet outspeeds a Gianna if Vanessa gets banned.
Yeah, we're seeing a pretty normal comp. We've seen this from Thompsin many times before. Judas bringing back that Water Fairy and Rikuni.
Yeah, and Judas, again, going with the passive play that I thought he would. Thompsin going with the Water Monkey. It's interesting, he told me yesterday he doesn't use Water Monkey, and here it is. So interesting to see it, but Water Monkey is quite good. I know this is on speed, quick damage attack, high damage Monkey here, so this is going to do a lot of work and be able to solo a lot of these units here.
I also did ask him upstairs, and he says the Gianna is indeed on Violent. He says it's not like him to lie about that stuff.
Ooh, going with the Lorne, and I like that last pick coming from Thompsin.
Yeah, it's an interesting last pick here. That Lauren is great because it enables that Water Monkey to kill a unit off. If I'm Judas, I'm thinking, do I want a speed lead or do I want some piece of immunity? Doesn't even look great into a Violent Gianna and a Lauren and a Water Monkey here. So, but a Vivichal, the other LD that he has not used, I mean, there's usually no wrong time to use a Vivichal.
No, there isn't. So I wonder if Judas really going to be trying to take first turn away from Thompsin with that Bastet. I'm very curious how fast it's going to be.
Yeah, but Thompson's draft does look quite scary. He has that Gianna, he has a Lorne, which enables any unit there, and he also has that Water Monkey to do a lot of damage and AoE stun, knowing that Judas has a very light bit of immunity here. So if I'm Thompsin, I'm thinking I'm either banning that Bastet, or I guess a Lucia. He didn't want to deal with it from the last game.
Yep, Thompsin banning out that Lucia. Judas banning that Light Cowgirl.
Taking out the Light Cowgirl here. Thompsin, if he does not land his defense break from Vanessa, will also lack burst. That's a lot of healing from Judas' side. We'll see how the procs and speeds turn out.
Yep, definitely. Here we go, guys. This is round 3. Thompsin and Judas. Somebody's going home.
And Judas is Baset's clearly on Violent, and Judas clearly, Rikuni and Julianne not on Will. So this is a lot of damage that Judas is going to take off the bat.
Ooh, choosing to target the Vivichal does get that immunity off.
Yeah, you got to reset that Vivichal here because that is a lot of skills in skill 2 and 3. It's a lot big momentum shift there.
Yep. Really is. Let's go for bomb onto Raccoon.
Yeah, and the disadvantage of Raccoon is your opponent can't control it here, so he's laid the bomb on Raccoon. It's going to work the damage of another unit, so Raccoon is going to die early.
Yep, does go for critical. Needs that stun on the Bastet. Does receive the stun and the additional turn. There it is.
Big proc, because that's another bomb he's going to get next turn, and that bomb's going to do a lot of damage.
Yep, see him starting to focus out that Viva.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't touch that Raccoon, he's just waiting to drop 2 bombs on it. If you look at the attack bars, Gianna's going to be able to drop a second bomb on a Raccoon.
Yep, there's that defense break we were looking for.
So if he drops that second bomb on Raccoon, chooses to drop it on that Bastet instead, which is also an okay choice here, and whittles that Viva Shell down. That's a lot of damage. And skill 2, if it does stun a lot, it's going to put Thompsin in a huge
There
advantage.
it is. Big stun onto that light vamp.
And again, Thompson's Water Monkey and Gianna might move in front of this Vivichel. That's how fast Thompson's runes are. Really putting Judas on the back foot.
There we go. And he goes and tuns himself, takes the bomb, does not get stunned up. And another additional turn coming from Judas with that light vampire.
That's actually a big proc because Judas gets to stun a unit.
He does, stuns up that Vanessa.
And again, Judas is on the back foot right now, taking a lot of damage, but Thompsin doesn't really have very many cooldowns. His Water Monkey's off cooldown, and that Gianna needs a proc, needs one more bomb.
Yeah, Thompsin showing he wants to target that Raccoon, keep that Raccoon's HP low.
Saying corrected, that Water Monkey does have a full set of cooldowns and is going for the damage onto that Raccoon.
And does get the strip onto the Raccoon as well.
And so Judas right now does not have very much attack power, so that Gianna will be able to land a bomb before anything of Judas's. And that Ganny has 2 more turns of cooldown on each, so not momentum-wise, Thompson's a little bit down, but he's also in a very favorable position.
He was looking to apply that glancing onto that light vampire, did not receive it. Bomb's coming out onto Viva and does land.
And if I'm Thompsin, I need to whittle down that Viva Chow, but instead goes for more damage on that Raccoon.
Yeah, should be looking for a stun here to keep that Raccoon back, and that light vamp does receive it onto light vamp though.
And this Raccoon is so tanking. That's a giant proc there.
Huge proc. He's able to sustain his team just a little bit more. Maybe boost himself up and possibly get another Vile proc as well.
That's a giant proc because he was able to reboost himself.
Yep, Bastet just took that bomb.
And if that Viva Chow is tanky, it's going to be able to survive. Thompsin needs a proc here. Actually, the attack bar is going to boost him up, and he's going to be able to lay a second bomb. So Thompson's actually still in a pretty decent spot here.
Yep, definitely is. Does get an additional turn on that Gianna. Oh man, bomb's coming out again.
That bomb, this bomb is brought to you by Google Play. That proc is powerful.
There it is. Bomb gets laid on top of that Bastet. Looking to get glancing probably on that light vamp.
Got to get that glancing on that light vamp. Play it safe. Just take it home here. Thompsin should lay in a little bit more damage onto that Viva Chow because that bomb might not be enough damage here. So just one more touch onto that Viva Chow.
And see, we touched with that Water Monkey King.
So Thompson splitting damage a lot here, choosing to continue to split damage, but I think he's in a comfortable spot.
Oh, that is a big proc coming from that Vanessa. Probably going to capitalize on that Raccoon.
Yeah, and that Raccoon is probably going to survive here, but that Gianna does not survive.
Oh, there it is. And no defense break onto Bastet. Not like he's going to need it with those bombs sitting on top of Bastet.
So Thompsin looking like he's in a commanding spot here. Should be relieved that he's going to take this game home. I mean, he still has that ventilate from that Ganny to refresh cooldowns. He's in a good spot.
But if I know Thompson, it ain't over till it's over.
Definitely not. I mean, the game's not over, but it is pretty over. You got 2 bombs there. Thompson could just walk away from the podium right now, to be honest.
Definitely not looking good for Judas.
Definitely not. I would not want to be Judas at this moment. And he's
Bomb gets resisted as well. Not to worry, though. And there it is. Round 3 taken by Thompsin.
Thompson's moving on to the semifinals. Wow, what a game.
Great match.
Thompsin brilliantly navigating the battlefield, putting bombs all over the place, all while making sure that Raccoon cleansed the right person.
Yeah, and I would say that's a good show of control. Doing damage to that Raccoon, making sure that Raccoon was basically controlling that Raccoon and what it cleansed. At the same time, knowing that Gianna knew exactly when to Vile Proc. That Gianna was just the MVP of that match, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely was. All those Vile Procs that we were seeing from that Gianna helped out a whole lot. That first skill, he's